Okay, great. I hope everyone hears me okay. Otherwise, please just mention something in the questions area, and I will try to fix the sound. But I think that you should hear me properly. Welcome everyone to this webinar today. My name is Linus Karlsson Ritzén. I'm the Technical Implementation Manager here at StruSoft. And today we are gonna look into a little bit of the new things that we're gonna release in Impact for Revit, and more focused on the shop drawings and shop drawing templates in particular. Yes, I think we are. Yeah, we can probably start soon. I think we can wait just a few minutes or 1 minute or so, because I see that it's adding up with attendees every second here. So just give it just a few seconds more. But I think that we can start with the agenda at least. So the agenda today will be a short introduction that we are on right now, and then we're going to look into the features at the start of the shop drawing templates. So as I said before, we have spent some time on making it easier to work with the shop drawing templates. So I'm going to show you some good parts of that, and then in the end we're going to do some shop drawings and check the result basically. And as usual, we will have the Q&A in the end. So it looks pretty good with the attendees now. So let's get started, I guess. So we'll stop my presentation here, and I will open Revit. So as a start, I just want you to know that this webinar won't contain any modeling part. I have a few sample elements here that we will use. The modeling, you can just look at some old webinars that I've hosted where we look into details regarding that. But today we're going to focus on the shop drawings and shop drawing templates in particular. So yeah, as I mentioned before, we have done a lot of things in the shop drawing templates, and most things are done to make the creation of the template easier. So, and also that will of course result in better shop drawings when we generate it. But the generation of creation of the shop drawings are just a small part. So we need to spend a lot of time to build up the template that we wish to use. And to make that work easier, we have created some cool features. So I will actually start with generating one shop drawing here, and I'm gonna do it for this bigger wall where we have some custom materials and some reinforcement. So I will just go to my shop drawing templates and let them load a little bit. I will actually just close my webcam so that your screen will be a little bit bigger. You see it more. Yes, so I will find a shop drawing template. We will use these webinar shop drawing templates today. So I will take that one, and I had a shop drawing already, so I will just replace it. So right now we are adding the whole shop drawing with the sheets, the views, all the details with dimensioning and so on. So it will take just a couple of seconds more. So we are gonna generate this shop drawing so that we have something to base this webinar on, because we're gonna take a quick look at it, and then we're gonna go to the template that we used and see if we can change some things to make it a little bit better even. So now it's finished, and I will open my shop drawing. So this is a very basic shop drawing. It's for a sandwich wall. We have a front view, a top view, and a vertical section, some schedules, and then some end cap details. On the second sheet, we have the reinforcement, where it's a little bit small now, but I think it's since I'm using the A1, so maybe I would create a little bit bigger tags here for the text, but I guess that you get the point anyways. And we have this vertical section here. So what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna delete this section, not really in here because it doesn't make sense to make it in the shop drawing, but I think that our focus today will be creating one view, and we're gonna start with that one. So I will go to my template. I will just open it from the other screen here, like this. So we have the main view and the reinforcement view. So to start with, a little bit of history. So you guys who have been trying out and using Impact Revit before knows that before when we created these shop drawing templates, we needed to start here in the assembly section in the project browser, create an assembly view. That view we needed to make the correct scale and so on, and how the content of the view was done here in the view template section. And when we were done with placing all the views as we wanted them, and making sure that the content was right, we needed to do the third step of adding the impact information basically. And we thought that was a little bit time consuming. So what we did instead was to combine all these three things into one place, which is the shop drawing settings here. So I will show you that right away. So I will start my shop drawing settings, and the shop drawing settings, as you know, is where we say control what the shop drawing will be. What shop drawing template we are doing, what element and so on, and the dimension lines for each view. So for you who has been using it before, you see that we have changed a little bit here on the first screen. We have removed some information, so here we just have the general information regarding the template. So basically, where this template is placed, what's the default shop drawing status should be, preliminary drawing in this case, what drawing type I'm doing a sandwich wall, and what element types my shop drawing should work for. So maybe I would have the same shop drawing template for walls, then I could click it in as well. But usually you have one template for each element type. This one is also new. I will come to that later, but I will show you some other things at first. So we go to the second view where we do most of the work, and this is the drawing views. So the obvious thing here is that we have added or moved this selection of the sheet from general to drawing views, and the reason for that is basically to skip some clicks, because right now I'm on the main view, but if I would do something on the reinforcement view before, then I would need to go to general and switch and go back here. So it's like two or three extra clicks that we don't really like with just switching the tabs here. So instead we are doing we are doing all of it from here. So all things that is regarding the drawing views will be changed in this tab. So that's the only thing. We have not changed anything regarding these things. We have just moved them. If we take a look a little bit down here, we have added some things. So we are going to check this create or update viewport in just a second, but I will just go through a little bit what we are gonna check. So that's one thing that we have done. We have improved the scale to fit so that we have that working now. We have added this hide section in other views. I will show you that in a minute as well. This was an idea from a lot of different customers that have been using Impact Revit so far, and it was a really cool feature. Then what I talked about in the beginning with creating all the views from the assembly area here in the product browser to the view templates and then adding it to the shop drawing settings. We have added these 4 buttons here instead. So we can now add new views and remove selected views just from the shop drawing settings. And that's what we're going to look at right now, basically. One more thing that is very simple for you guys, but it's not like any settings or so, but it's just something that will make life easier, is that we have changed how this dialog box is working. So basically, before, when we had this shop drawing settings, we couldn't like use Revit in the background, but now this one is, you know, detached from Revit basically, or simply explained. So if I would have, I want to do something on the reinforcement view. Before I would be needing to close this dialog, change the tab, and then start the shop drawing settings again, which takes a little bit of time. That is just a waste. So now I can just use all the commands here in Revit when I have this opened. So that's really nice. So yes, let's start with the first thing. I'm going to show you how to work with the views, with adding them and so on. And here we're going to add, this is on the reinforcement sheet. So I'm going to add another vertical section here, but for the reinforcement. So we have one, as we see here, the A here. That's the vertical section for the main drawing, but I want one for the reinforcement as well. So I just click here on add new view and I get this dialog. So I can name it A-R maybe. R stands for reinforcement. Then I will select my view type, what type of view I want to create. And this time it's going to be detail section B. And we have some description here, vertical section. So this is the names from our Revit, and this is the description that we have added to make it more clear what views to use. So this 2 first steps here is creating the view that we did before here in assemblies. Then we can also add a view template automatically. So since this is reinforcement, I don't have a section reinforcement, but I will use the same as for this one. And then the third thing is that we can use different dimension line settings than before. So as you remember, when we created the views from Revit itself, when we opened the shop drawing templates, none of the dimension line settings were there. So instead of doing that, you know, extra step in the next dialog, we are adding it here as well with 3 different options. So either you can leave it empty and decide what view settings you want, or you can use the default ones. And default means that we have added a few settings for each type of view that we think is, you know, commonly used for the different types. Or we can decide to import from another view, which I'm going to show you. So when we use this one, we get a fifth option to select a view, and I want to use maybe the outer panel as a reference. So I hit OK. Then Revit prompt me to pick insertion points, and it's not really important where it's placed because we're gonna change it later on. So here we can see that I use the outer view here, and we have rebar, protruding rebar, reinforcement, and symbolic mesh as dimension lines activated. And when we look at this AR, we have the same here. We get the correct view as we selected and so on, which is really good. Yes, so right now we see that the viewport here is not the same as for this one because we don't have the title. So I will just, while having this open, change to another option here. And I will also decide, where to place this view, because now I just placed it randomly, but I want it to be aligned according to this one and also scaled according to these two here. So I will use this create or update viewport, which is a new way of deciding, the boundary of where the view should be placed. Before we had this place view in center, top left, or top right and top left and so on, which made it a little bit hard to keep control over the placement of the different views when we generate shop drawings of elements of different sizes. But with this new viewports that we're using, we can control it in a better way. And it's pretty simple. You just make sure that you are placed on the view that you want to create this for. Click on this button here, and I will just make the area to put it in. So like this. This is my area, the maximum area that I will use for this view. Great. I also told you that we had a setting for the sections here, that hide sections in other views. And this comes from some requests that you see here, that in our reinforcement view, we have two sections right now. If I just go here, you will see that one is the AR that we created recently, and one is the A, which is the vertical section on the main drawing. So to make the views or the shop drawing clear or clean, we don't want extra sections that are not adding some value to the shop drawing here or the views. So the question we got was, can we hide specific sections in the different views? And we needed to create a command for it, because that was not something that Revit or Autodesk Revit provided. So then we come up with this hide section in other views, and it's pretty simple to use. So basically, we are standing on the section that we want to work with. So in this case, I want to make sure that my AR section won't be placed on the main drawing. So I will go here to this new setting, and I will actually just click maybe NCAP doesn't matter, but I'll just click the views where I don't want to see the section AR, like this. So I will do that for the AR. As we can see, if I go to main and check A, I have the same here. But not in this case. I want to see it in the main drawing and not the reinforcement drawing. So we will see the results of this in a couple of minutes. Yes. So when you have created these views, let's say that now in my example here, we have had a pretty okay template to base, as a base. But it could be that the first template you do, you need to create everything from scratch with all the dimension line settings and so on. And it might be that, for instance, these two views here, they should probably have the same settings for dimension lines and so on. So let's say that I'm switching back to reinforcement. And let's say that I'm working with my inner panel first. I put all the settings I want here. Let's say set, maybe not. Yeah, I can do that. Let's say I want impact continuous here, like this. And I want placement on these two, and I want closest edge on this one. By the way, this one is something new as well that I'm gonna show you a little bit later. But let's say that I'm doing these, and yeah, it's not a lot of clicks, but some clicks that you need to do for this view as well. Let's say that I have no settings here. So instead of doing all these 2 times or similar, we can use this import button here. So basically what we're doing now, we are selecting a existing view. So I want to use the inner, and then I have 2 options. So either I can take all the views that or the settings here that we have for this inner view, or I can do a selection. So let's do the selection here. So in the inner panel, we had 5 settings. I guess we had 2 in the bottom here. So let's say that in the outer panel, I just want to see rebars, extruding rebars, or reinforcement and symbolic mesh, and then OK. So then everything will be filled in automatically and copied from the other view. And this can be used for other views as well. So let's say that I go to my main drawing, and let's say that I worked on this top here. I want to add the recess as well on this one, but I don't want to show the recess here. Then what I'm gonna do is just say the settings. Let's keep it basic now, and yeah, I just removed all the settings for the section. So I'll just take this one and say that I will use the top, and I will select. I want the end cap label, openings, main, and I don't want the rest of these. So I can just either use all the settings from another view or select specific ones. And it doesn't mean that I need to have views that are identical like the inner and outer panel of the reinforcement views. It's more that you're probably going to have end cap label on the front view as well. So if I wouldn't have any settings on the front view, I could probably use the view settings that I have for this vertical view and add that to the front as a start. I hope that you get what I mean now. Yes, I will just look here a little bit in my notes. Yes, I have missed one thing that I want to show you. So this was a lot of, it was a few features that shows how to create the shop drawing. And even if they seem pretty basic, I know for a fact that it will help you save a lot of time when creating your templates. And we will also check some more features later on regarding this. But I'm thinking that we just gonna put one thing that is related to the shop drawing templates, but it's not related to the views, but the specifications here. So before we have we haven't really had the specifications working properly. It has been under development, and we needed to come up with a way to integrate Impact for Revit with the other part of the system. For instance, Project Manager. And that's what we have done right now. So basically, what we can see here is, I guess that a lot of you, recognize this. This comes, or these two columns here. Uh, let's take this one a little bit later, but these two first columns here comes from standard admin, where you create, or you say what specifications you want for each element type or drawing type, which is decided here. So let's say if I would switch to other here, let's say, and go to specifications, I wouldn't have anything, or just one row. But if I go back to my sandwich wall, I will have all these settings here. So these settings are taken from standard admin, and it's the same that we are using in AutoCAD and BricsCAD and so on, and from Project Manager as well. So here I can set my default value. So I will just set some random values here so that we have something to use. Let's take these here as well, like this. So now I have my default value. So these will show up in Project Manager when I look at my drawing, as we're gonna do in a couple of seconds. But to make sure that we have the same information here in Revit, we need to tie these parameters to a Revit parameter. So I've created some parameters here as well. For some reason now we don't have them activated. Let's see if I can do like this first. I think it was because I changed the drawing type, but let's see. Otherwise we're gonna look at this part in another. No, here they are. So I will create a parameter, or I have created it before, that is corresponding to my parameters from the standard admin. So in this case, exposure class, I will go here, inner, outer, concrete grade, let's do this one, outer, treatment, strength, let's take this one, stripping strength, and then the treatments, let's take those as well. So what I'm doing now is basically telling Impact and Impact Revit that the value that comes from this parameter in Impact in general should also reflect on this or be generated on these Revit parameters. So we'll see in a second how it works. So when I generate my shop drawing, my default value on the Revit shop drawing, and as well as in rest of Impact, would be these here. So we're gonna look at the result here in just a few minutes. Great, I think we are done with this first shop drawing. So I will just apply this, and let's try to generate a new shop drawing with this one. So I will do two shop drawings at the same time here for these two walls. One that is a little bit bigger, and one that's a little bit smaller, so that we can compare the scale and so on. Because that has been an issue before, that we have, if you use the same template for one wall that is bigger than the other one, it could be that the result was a little bit different. But we should have fixed that with the new features. So it will take a couple of seconds to generate these two walls. Of course, we can speed it up with just doing one at a time, but I need to use two here in this case. So when we're waiting, I can just explain a little bit more. Before I said that when this generate shop drawing is happening, we are creating the sheets and views and settings from the view template. So basically, the more complex or the more things that you have in both in the shop drawing template, let's say that you have 3 sheets, and as well as the more information you have in the element, like cost materials, rebars, and so on. The more you have there, the more time it will take. So it's correlated to that. So a very simple element won't take that many seconds. But I can see that we are soon having a result. Great. So let's start with the big wall here. I will open that one. And I will actually just open the main drawing as well. So here we can see that we got our new vertical reinforcement view, and we got a lot of settings from this one. So basically there's diagonal lines here that represent the mesh wouldn't be there. So that was a miss from me to remove it. And I didn't, I just missed to, select what type of placement I want for, or what type of rules I want for my rebar tags. So that's why it's a little bit chaotic, but otherwise we got it placed properly. It's aligned here, and we can see that it's scaled as well. So all the 3 views here that are corresponding are scaled according to each other. What we also can see is that here we don't see the A section, we just have the AR. So if I change this one, we don't see anything below it either. If I go to my main drawing, it's the opposite. Here I just see it's colliding a little bit with the end cap text, but here I just see the A shop drawing or section, not the AR, which is only possible now when we have the new setting to hide section in specific views. You can see it here as well. Yes, let's compare the views. So since we use this scale to fit and we had some area to put the views in, we will get different, in most cases we will get different views, view scales on different drawings, which we will look at in a minute, but also between the different sheets here, because here we are adding a lot of dimension lines and so on, which makes the view a little bit bigger compared to reinforcement. So here we can see that the scale that we ended up with was 1:35. And if we think that this is a little bit too little, we can probably just, because we have a lot of space here that I haven't used, so maybe create the view for this front a little bit bigger and reorganize a little bit. But I think that you get the point here anyways. So if we take a look here, so 1:35 on the main drawing, and since we don't have that many drawing or dimension lines here, we ended up with 1:20. If we go to the other wall that we created, we can see that instead of 1:35, we got 1:25. So this is because this wall is a little bit smaller than the first one. And if we take a look at the reinforcement here, it's 1:15, which is also bigger. So that's really a good thing. That's now we're getting the views scaled properly, and you can use the same template for different wall sizes without needing a lot of editing of the placement of the views. Great. Let me check in my list here. Yeah, we can take a look at the specifications. So as you can see here, we got a lot of not a lot, but some texts, and it depends on that. I probably haven't added all the the parameters before. So we can take, let's take this surface treatment up in mold for as an example. So right now it says grade smooth, which was the default value from my template. So now in sandwich wall 3. So let's go to Project Manager and update it. I think we need to refresh it a little bit since we created the shop drawings. Yes, I will close this one. So if I go to my drawings here, SW03, and as well as if I have done this from AutoCAD, I'm going to my properties and specifications. Here we can see all the settings that I put in the shop drawing template, and we have this surface treatment up in mold that was going to be our example. So let's say that I want to change it to painted after I create my shop drawing. So I hit OK. So let's just double check so that we have it as painted now. Yes, great. If I go back to Revit, obviously it's still gray smooth. But if I just go to my update shop drawing, and I will preserve everything because I don't want to. I just want to update the data here. I should get the new value. Let's give it a second. Yeah, it says painted here. So now it means that this specification now works the full way. So you put it, you create them in standard admin as a start, and then you end up with placing the default values in the template. But whenever you want, you can change it even from Project Manager, which is pretty nice. Great. Let's see in my list here. Yeah, create assembly views. We already created that one. It was when we created the vertical section in the reinforcement view. So my last thing that I want to show you before we generate some more shop drawings for some other elements is that let's say that we start with the sandwich wall here with the template as we have seen, and now maybe you want to create a template for the solid wall. It's pretty similar. Some of the things are changing, but one of the things that we're going to take in this example is that in the reinforcement view we will just have one view, not for inner panel or outer panel, but just for the whole wall. So it could be that you want to use a lot of settings from this template that we did for the sandwich wall, but you're gonna create a template for the wall. So it's basically two different templates, but we have made some nice things here as well. So let me open another template. It's basically I took a copy of the shop drawing template for the sandwich wall, and I've deleted the views here so that I only have one front view and one vertical view. So if I go to my shop drawing settings here and take a look, here, perfect. I'll see that I have solid wall, so I've changed these things as well. I have a main drawing it's pretty much the same as in the sandwich wall, but in the reinforcement here I just have front instead of inner and outer panel. If I look here at my front, I have no settings at all. So I could, of course, place my settings as I want here, but instead I will just go here to general, and you remember that I showed this dimension line setting before. So I will click that one, and this allows me to use another template from another location and just map my views that I want to get settings from. So let's go here. I will select my standard. the local level, I will use my webinar sandwich wall template. And we can see here that here to the left, I have my view names in the template I have opened, and to the right I have the views from the template that I selected here. So if the names are corresponding, we will automatically map them. But right now I'm just gonna focus on this front R since I already have the settings for the other views. But if I would start from scratch, I could just import all the settings at once, and which saves me a lot of time basically. But this one, front R, as we know from the sandwich wall template, we don't have any views called front R. So basically what we're gonna do is manually select what view we want to use the settings from. In this case, I use the inner panel. So basically, if the names are corresponding, we will connect them automatically. Otherwise, you need to do it manually. So I will hit OK here, and I will go back to my reinforcement front. And here we will see that I will have the settings from my other template that we just looked at, which is really nice. I will just put them nicely here. Yes, and I will just probably put these things. So this means that for one or a lot of views at the same time, you can just import the settings. So as I said before, the setting for or the template for a shop drawing in sandwich walls and solid walls, or even insulated walls, are pretty similar. So instead of putting the same amount of time on each template, you can just reuse from different templates and make shortcuts basically. So here I could also think that I want to use more space since I just have one view here now. So I can just go to my front R here, create or update view. And I will say that I will go from here to maybe here instead. So I will get a new drawing here, or a new view, which is going to be used later on. And then the same thing for the vertical. So I will put this one somewhere here, like this. And I think this one is, it's the old view. I will just delete it. I will check. So it's going to be scaled to fit as well. I will apply it. So now I could basically use it for a solid wall. I think time is running, but in the end I can probably just draw a basic solid wall, and you can see the result. But before we do that, I want to show you the shop drawings for columns and beams as well. It's pretty much the same deal, so we won't go into the settings for these ones, but we'll just generate shop drawings and take a look at the result. Because as you know, I said that that we were having a new feature called the protruding rebars. So I will show you that right away. And I will do that with a beam, because if I go to my reinforcement view, I see that I can probably put this to shaded. We see that some of the, or all basically, all reinforcement are sticking out a little bit. So maybe we want that dimensioned. So let's see how we can get the result here. So I will just create a shop drawing for this beam. And it will search a little bit. Yes, so I will find it on local, and it's called webinar as well. I hope that, let's see here. And I have had some issues with my backup files in Revit, so but it seems to work now. Perfect. So we'll generate this shop drawing as well, and it will take less time since we just had less things in this one. So this is the shop drawing template that I prepared. It's pretty basic. We have a front view, a top view, and a rebar view where we have, we just have one type of rebars placed in the whole beam. So it's actually 74 rebars with this distribution line. These views are nothing special, but in this section I put this value here that is showing the part that is sticking out of the rebar. Before we had the setting to dimension the rebars, but that was just dimensioning the whole one. So instead we now have divided these things, so we can just say that, yeah, I want just the measurement from the edge of the element to the top or to the end of the rebar. And this of course can be used in other elements as well, but I think that it could be very common on a beam like this. So so that's one new feature as well. Otherwise we have the same here, the scale to fit. So every view here are scale to fit, which means that we have the same scale. This one here have a fixed scale, so it's not corresponding, but if I put scale to fit here as well, I will get the 1 to 20. Let's take a look at the column. So we generate the shop drawing for that one as well. Great. And it's similar here. To get my shop drawing, I have two views, one left and one front view, one 3D view in this case, and a section. So here I don't have anything new, but it's the same here. We have scale to fit, so all views will that we are saying. Yeah, this one was a little bit outside, but all views that we are putting the scale to fit will scale accordingly, which is pretty nice. So as an end, I promised to create a simple solid wall to just finish up this webinar and show the results of the template. So let's do that. Let's do one like this, and I will just add some. I think that my lift was not configured for this one, so I'll just add some end caps instead. So we have something in the wall. Don't have anything more than this one, so hopefully it works. Let's see. Yeah, pretty good. I can also add some cast material so that we can see if that works. That could be something. Of course, we need to save the elements, and the reason that we had we didn't save the other elements was that I've done that before and we didn't change the geometry. But we need to have a saved element to create the shop drawing. Great. So let's see here. Yeah, I didn't add some reinforcement, but hopefully we can pretend that's some reinforcement in it. Wall shop drawing template and generate it. It would probably take pretty quick, although it's two different sheets, but let's see. Yes. So yeah, the reason that we don't have the views here, that's because I use the parametric end cap, which don't have the details here, but you see that it's we're placing the views in the same way as for the sandwich. If I go to my reinforcement view, we'll see that we get the new size of the view that we just created a few minutes ago, which yeah, makes us get more details basically. And we don't have a content with the reinforcement, so that's why it's empty here. But I guess that you see the point of it. Great. That was actually the thing that I wanted to show you. All of these features that I've discussed with you right now, or showed you right now, is going to be released in the Q2 update. And they will also be, we will add some descriptions of how to use them and the other details in the, wiki page. That um, that you will find on wiki.strusoft wiki.impact.strusoft.com. So wiki.impact.strusoft.com. Great. I will start my presentation again, and the last slide I have is this Q&A. So basically, if you have any questions, ask them now, and I will do my best to answer them. So I will just give you a few minutes to have time to ask questions, and I hope that you now see me as well. So if you have any questions regarding this webinar, or also if you have other thoughts about Impact for Revit or Impact, let me know, and I will do my best on answering them. I hope that I see them here. So we'll wait a couple of more minutes. Here we have something. Okay, we have some issues, it seems. It's one user that didn't get the whole video, and he's also asking that we will yeah, if you had problems to watch this webinar, no problem at all. We will update it on YouTube, or not update, but upload it on YouTube probably tomorrow. So just look at our channel StruSoft on YouTube, and we will see. I think that we also will add the the link to this webinar in some social media posts. So keep your eyes open. Let's see. I have a little bit trouble to see all the questions because it's not expanding here. But I see that my colleague Nikolai has answered some. Great. Yeah, but I think that's all. And if you come up with more questions later on, just let me know on either email or phone call, and I will help you with answers. And with that, I will thank you all for attending. It was a pleasure to show you the new features, and I hope that you will have a great afternoon.